Hi.
Hey,
Nice
it's nice to meet you.
to meet you. Everybody's like, you gotta follow. So I'm on day two
Mhm.
of like TikTok or battles in general. So I'm learning everything. So my team is like trying to tag you, and I just figured out how to pull you up in here. So
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve. Like I've done this for 2 years and I still struggle on like how to do certain things. So don't worry about it.
yeah, it's fun. And then Alicia's like, because I'm really close with Alicia, she's like, you gotta talk to Sarah. I'm like, okay.
I freaking love Alicia. We just battled for the first time today.
Did
So
you? She's
yeah.
awesome. She's awesome. Her and I like obviously met after, well, she started dating
Hmm.
the ex after me, and then like shortly after she ended, like things ended with them, her and I like just connected, and we've just had this bond ever since.
Hmm.
So yeah, she's just awesome.
Yeah, I can imagine like obviously it's like a hard situation, but what I watched you talk about and the way that I watched you just talk about it, I know that you see the silver linings. I know that you've made good into bad or bad into good. Sorry, like
Making
you've
that
turned it around.
transition.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean. And, like you've been able to like take such a hard thing and turn it into such a beautiful thing. And I feel like that's literally what life is about. So
Yeah,
it's
it wasn't. It honestly wasn't like that for a long time. It was like I was just saying that on like right before you joined. I'm like, it was probably a good 4 years before I even felt back to being myself. And
yeah.
then even then, I was still so guarded. I was picking all the wrong guys. I was still like, I wouldn't. It's still to this day. I still have major trust issues with men. I was recently dating somebody, and he was one of the first people I actually was like trusting to even sleep in bed with me,
Yeah.
because it's just such a, people don't realize that that really has a lasting effect. Alicia and I were joking around earlier because I guess there's some like videos of him saying, I don't know why, like they're still talking about me. They're obsessed. I'm like, I'm the one who has a permanent restraining order. There's no obsession there. Like, I needed, I got that. It was granted. So it's like, but it's like an ever, I think the mental thing on it is just, it's way more complicated. Some people can really, I tried compartmentalizing for a while right after it, but compartmentalizing is putting it in a box and it's still in the back of your head. Then at some point it's going to open up. So although compartmentalizing certain things in your life is great, but not,
Right.
that not that kind of stuff or people in general. It's really hard to do that too. So
And
yeah.
then I feel like a lot of the times too, it almost manifests into like physical things or you know what I mean, like PTSD symptoms or something that you know what I mean, like nightmares or something else. It'll always manifest until you really
Yeah.
like throat punch
Work
it,
through it.
you know what I
Mhm.
mean, and process it really is the right word. Then
Yeah.
it's yeah, it is. It's stuck in the back and it's gonna manifest in other ways. So
Yeah, I actually didn't talk about this, but I actually did EMDR, which I don't know. I don't think a lot of people know what it is, but
yeah.
um, you
Eye
know, just,
movement, what is it? Eye movement.
um, I always forget something. I have to look it up.
Yeah.
I can't
I'll think of
remember.
it in like 2 minutes and then
Yeah,
I'll.
somebody might tell us in the chat what it
Yeah.
stands for. But I was like desperate at one point, and I was like, I can't live with it was a lot of anxiety. Majority of mine was just anxiety. Like I would be afraid, like going further from my house, like just leaving my safe zone. So like if I started traveling or anything like that, I started having massive anxiety because I got dogs that were, you know, I got them trained, military trained, like to defend me. I have, like, so they were my support dog. So every time I went away from one, I started to really like get anxiety. So I did EMDR, and it was probably the best thing that, oh, there it is. Eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. I would have never remembered that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I have a ton of different therapies in my brain and I know what it does. Like I know it's specifically like it's bilateral stimulation to calm down the peripheral nervous system.
Yeah.
I know that, but like there's just so many like things in my brain that it's
It was really good. I mean, you basically go back and revisit those moments. So it's extremely like draining mentally, draining you. But it was the best thing I did, honestly.
yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so walking outside actually mimics that type of therapy too. It's like because your eyes are kind of like laterally shifting, just like naturally.
Yeah.
It's like a really good, like if you can't afford it, or it's definitely a good coping mechanism for anxiety
Oh
specifically.
yeah.
But
I don't have mods. Somebody's asking me. I do not have a mod.
you should definitely mod somebody that you trust. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to find. Some people can. It's hard. Maybe wait it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know if I'm like, they like having to worry about it, but somebody's saying you need one.
Well, also if the hate in the chat doesn't really get to you either, then it's like one of those things. But
I haven't seen anything yet, but
yeah.
but yeah, I love your Albert Einstein picture.
Oh, I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
That's awesome.
George Washington blowing bubbles.
Oh, it's George Washington. Why am I
Yeah.
thinking Albert? I was thinking of Albert Einstein.
No, you're good. You're good. I was like, wait, what do you mean?
You're like, what is this girl talking about?
I was like, yeah, me too. I love it too. Where
It's
is
so
it now?
funny. I was thinking of like the American flag, like ready, and I still said Albert Einstein. I don't know why. Yeah,
You
I
want to
just
run a battle?
what?
You want to run a battle?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay,
Is my team ready? Let's go.
Oh yeah, your team's ready.
I think they are. I think they've come to play tonight.
Like yeah, I love to hear it. Guys, everybody double tap. Your first gift will be triple the points. Whatever you send is going to be triple. Yeah, no, I think that's really cool that you guys can connect. And I think that it's really cool too that you were able to find things that helped you, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time, like it's hard to find a very tailored intervention, right?
Oh, it's yeah. It's
Yeah.
super hard.
hmm So I'm glad that you were able to do that.
Y'all coming through. Kate, thank you, Kate and Jamie, Margaret. Y'all are so sweet. My team came to play.
And I will say too, when someone specific or whoever says something like that, it's because they're not all the way there to like, that's like literally the way that they think. Like you just have to take a step back and be like, we're not going to get on the same level here because we don't think the same, like, you know what I mean? And that's okay.
Oh yeah.
So
And it's like I've come to realize. Sorry, my dog's playing tug of war with me right now. I've just come to realize I'm like, somebody had said like, he's got to live with that. He's got to be inside his own head. And I think that's torture enough.
yeah.
For me, I learned to heal from that. I'm like, oh, I would not want to be in that brain. That's living hell.
Yes.
24/7, and that is not a place. Like you might have put me through hell for a while, but no, that's a different type of hell. That's like, that's demons all day long in your brain, and that's like,
And I do want to say, I don't want to make this about me at all, but I just want to be vulnerable with you as well, because like you've done that and you've done it so beautifully. Like I do have my own like essay stories,
yeah,
both of them involving being woken up. And so I really related to you with like the sleep situation that you were saying.
oh yeah, I'm sorry, my dog. All right, Guys, outside. Let's go. Let's go.
No, outside. She's
She's in there. That's my good one. Then I got a second dog, and he is just a monster. He just wants to play. He's young, so he's like, play with me, play with me. Yeah. And it's always when like who let the dogs out. So just right. Yeah, the bed thing. That's like one of my like that's just still to this day. Right. I said that on the live. I'm like, that is your most vulnerable place.
Yes.
You're sleeping. You're not conscious in the moment. Like that is your most vulnerable place. So for me, now my dog's coughing. Sorry about that. So sorry about all the background noise of dogs.
It's okay. It's life, man. It's life.
But that really is, that was probably, that's another one that was like super difficult for me, just because that really is, you go to bed and you think that you're safe, and then you wake up and it wasn't just once, it was just so many different occasions. So there was a lot of times that like I just didn't sleep, or I'd sleep during the day and not sleep at night because the nighttime was harder for me.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that was definitely like probably the hardest part. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, you heal. The EMDR was like a big thing for me, and then I did actual real therapy. I mean, I think people don't talk about that enough, because it's easier to put a Band-Aid on things, but I'm like, I want to get down to the root of the problem and like fix it, or else it's just going to keep resurfacing over and over. So I did just talk therapy. I mean, I think that was great for me, at least. It doesn't work for everybody, but
right. And I think you too, like, I think that's great that you bring this up, because EMDR, it's working in like the neural connectivity in your brain, and then the talk therapy to supplement that. It's like you're able to get both sides, like you're able to process the actual emotions of it, all while helping speed up the neuroplasticity of it all. Yeah. So you know what I mean? I think that's great that you mentioned like both of those. I did TMS and I did talk therapy, and it was exactly what I needed. So.
Oh yeah. I think talking about like just even on social media in general, talking about mental health. I mean, I think we're in an economy right now, like not even just a trauma, just, mental health in general is just not really spoken about as much as it should be. Yeah. And just so many people that I talk to are just in such a hard time in their place, and we just don't talk about it enough, and it should be more acceptable. But I think people are they don't want to come out and speak about it. And, that's just, where it's at, unfortunately. But
yeah, I think, but like you were saying too, it's easier to compartmentalize. It's easier to bury. It's easier to distract. There are other coping mechanisms that they're using instead of just like going to therapy. But yeah, you're right. I do think that just in general, social media, we focus on a lot of the wrong things on here. We focus on drama and distraction, entertainment, whatever, when it's such a perfect opportunity to talk about the things that matter, like this. So
yeah, no, it really is. I mean, I think just getting out there and speaking, or doing like talking like we are, or just pushing up videos in general, like like people content creators are coming out and they're really talking about it. I'm seeing it circulate, and I think it's so important. And like one of the other things is why are we? Oh wait, let me just tell.
Go ahead.
Kate, thank
MVP Texas. Thank you, Okie Mama too. I appreciate everybody tapping my screen. Thank you guys.
Marissa, thank you. Yes, am I saying that right? Hopefully I am. I don't know what your real name is, but thank you guys so much. But I think one of the biggest thing that they're coming out and saying is, you have nice people who are going on, battles. You have nice people who are going on live. Why are people with records and continuous behavior coming out, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not $1 million a year from this platform for being terrible, awful people. And of course, you're going to have women who are just like swooning over these guys. I mean, there was some guy on TikTok, and he's like a serial, whatever, unaliver, and he was an attractive guy, and now it's just taken over TikTok, and people are talking about it, and we're basically like, I remember when it happened to me. There was like the mugshot was like circulating, and people were saying how good looking he was. I'm like, literally, do you see the charges that are next to it? And you're talking about his looks. That to me is the most disgusting thing, that you would look at that and say that. But that's unfortunately a woman with not her right head on, like her head is not on her shoulders.
That's part of it. Like you said, his revenge, his karma is that he has to, everywhere he moves, there he is. You know what I mean? Like, and genuinely, like, a lot of the people in our society are very externally motivated, very like, oh, he has abs, or like, I don't know, like he's manly or something. But it's like, that's like the way that our society functions, and that's more of a systemic issue than anything else. And we can see it. We see narcissistic traits in like a lot of people that are successful in our society, and that's just a problem with our system, if nothing else.
Oh yeah, I mean, and even at the time, I mean, they were like the law enforcement here and the state attorney's office, they were really trying to help. But unfortunately, like I said, when you're so in it, it's, they don't understand. You don't know until you're actually in it. So I blocked him, guys. I blocked him. He was just being stupid. He's like, so nobody with a background can like to make money. That's not the point here, guys.
I'm not even saying that. She's not saying that. Like, it's more so like, if you put money and funds into one thing or one person that is spreading negative ideations or concepts, then that will continue to spread. Versus if you put money, opportunity into somebody or something that's going to spread positivity, then that's what's going to spread. You know what I mean? Whoever you boost, that's what is going to be spread. And it's not, I don't want to take anyone down. I don't want to take away from people. I want everyone to be at their best, but that's just how it works. Like,
yeah. I told Alicia, and I talk about this all the time. We're like, it's just progressively, it's just getting so much worse that I hear the stories, and I'm like, good. I'm just, I pray for who's ever in that path, because it's just getting worse and worse. And, I never thought I'd be saying that, but it clearly is from the stuff I'm reading and people coming forward. I'm like, different ways of being worse, like maybe it's a different category than I had, but it's as bad, so it's, it's just
exactly like, and he's still being uplifted for the behaviors. And so then what's going to happen?
And that's the point. It's not that you don't like, there's people like, listen, there's people all over social media that have a background that, that's not the point. But when you're putting your hands on women, when you're degrading people online, when you're vicious, when you're coming on live and you're on drugs or drunk and you're just so vulgar, I mean, it's just, if that's what you're supporting to make somebody make the money they're making, it's just, it's so wrong. Like, that's what's wrong with social media in general right there. That's why I had such a negative taste in my mouth about social media. And that's why I didn't come on for so long, because I was like, I'm not going to support, like, I'm not going on there. Why? Like, that's what's wrong. So.
They made a social media app that was only positive stuff allowed on it, and it was so unsuccessful. Like people, and this is a psychology like fun fact, right? But we do notice and we take in negative information more than we take in positive information. So we have to be careful about what we pay attention to. We have to be aware of what we like are thinking and what we're just putting our focus on,
Yeah.
because you can easily get sucked down that, and that will affect you, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, but that's why social media is just human nature, genuinely. Like that's part of who we are, but
Yeah.
we adapted from like running away from lions and stuff. You know, we had to pay attention to the negative. We had to pay attention to danger to
Yeah.
survive. But that's just like human nature at this point. So,
And that's what I like, if the whole point was like really just bringing light to, I think DV is coming more out there, but I still don't I think it's like something that just people don't talk about. And I think unless you know somebody who's been in it, you kind of just are like, whatever. And it's just a topic that you just don't visit.
yeah.
And so, I mean, that was for me. I admitted that the other night. I was like, gosh, before it happened to me, I just kind of had, I was like, whatever. That was kind of my mentality on it. It was just because I was naive.
Right.
So, now, like, I'm just trying to bring light out to something that, I had family members that were naive. I mean, like, again, because it's never happened to them. They didn't know about it. Like, and that's just normal. That's normal for, for people to have to go through. So,
How do you get people? That's the question then. How do you get people that have never been through a situation like that to start paying attention and to start standing up and agreeing and trying to make a difference with you? Someone who's never gone through it, never seen it in their family, never emotionally been even affected by it whatsoever.
I think for the people that I knew that knew me, that had no idea what was going on, and they were really like naive to it, showing them the pictures was that was the eye opener for them, was actually seeing the damage, hearing the damage. I have videos like of the vulgarity. I have so many videos and text, and I've never deleted anything since that time, which is crazy because we didn't have the technology on the phone since then. So I was so grateful that everything saved over the years. So I think for them, just showing the picture and then getting well, how could you let that happen? That's the best question that anybody has asked me. And I'm like, it's such like, because again, I can't be mad at that question because I probably would have said the same thing had I not been in it. So, that question, when I was asked that, was people like Alicia and I had a big laugh about this because I tried explaining the boiling hot water with the frog, and it always comes out like botched. But it really, like, I typically give that one where, as you're in it, like if somebody came up to you, if you went out on a date and the first date, they're calling you every bad word or they're showing aggression, are you going to go on date number 2 with them? Absolutely not. You're going to be like, bye, there's the door, I'm out, peace, see you later. But if they're winning you over, they're love bombing you for the first 30 days or longer, and then it continues. Now you've formed a bond, you formed a trauma bond. They start to test the waters. They start to say, but you don't love me, I love you so much, and now you're in it. Yeah. Now you're actually invested. In my case, I was isolated and taken out of my home. Like I moved, had no family or friends. So now at that point, it made it even harder for me to leave. So when I don't have family around. So yeah, I think that, I think that's like probably the best way to describe it to people is like, and even then I still have people still being naive after, giving that whole explanation.
Right.
But
I feel like it's hard for some people to empathize in general, and maybe that's when you like turn it around on them and just say like maybe like storytell or something where it's like, and this I'm just like thought bubbling right now, you know what I mean? Maybe like you start off with, imagine you meet this really hot guy and then you know, you go out to dinner with him and he like courts you, and then you move in with him, and then you kind of cut off connection with, I don't know. I feel like you have to put it into perspective of it's them, and then I don't know. I don't know.
It's hard. And I've
Yeah,
had
it is
people
hard.
come back years later and say, this happened to my sister, this happened to me. I'm so sorry. I was so naive to it. And again, it's like, unless you know someone or if you've been in it, you don't even have like any type of clue of
But
how
it's 1 in 4.
Mhm.
It's isn't it? I thought, okay, I was looking.
So I was told 1 in 3. I don't know. Maybe it's changed statistically now. Maybe it could be 1 in 4. Recently, I thought it was 1 in 3.
You're probably right. 1 in 3. You're probably right.
It can fluctuate. And I'm sure as times go on and times get tougher, you know, money, financial, you know, economy, all this stuff, it's just going to get worse, you know, like stuff like that triggers people, or, you know, we're just not in a great economy right now with things. So all of that takes into place. I know for me, it did, at least in the beginning when there was no money flow. Ooh, that was hard. And then when the money started coming in, he was worse, you know. But for a while, when he had really no money coming in, I was getting the wrath of that. So, and I was the breadwinner. So, so yeah. So
see how it's always skewed. It's always skewed, and it's like crazy because you and we have like higher empathy for just people, animals, plants, whatever, right? So for us, that mindset just like blows our mind every single time, and you're just sitting here confused because you're like, how, why? Like, but even just ruminating over that doesn't do anything. Honestly, it just keeps you trapped in that cycle. Like, you know what I mean? So it's hard because you're like, I could never be like that. I could never think that way. But that's true. It's true. You could never think that way.
It really is. And I had shut the door on talking about DV for years now, because I was just not like growing as a person. So I had to step back. So the more I talked about it, the harder it was for me. And I was like, I just can't keep reliving this over and over and over. But then when I read then when I saw people tagging me and giving me a call and like telling me what was going on, and you know, hearing that there's a girl who's potentially in serious danger, I'm like, I can't not be that voice now. I have to like come back out and speak my truth and show the facts of what happened. And although I did get that day in court last year and the year before, because my permanent injunction was placed 2 years ago, and then he contested it. So then I got a full time to speak in the courtroom in front of a judge. And so that was truly my first time since started dating 2014, but in 2016 was when it happened. So if we want to go back to 2016, so truly from 2016, that was the first time, like, I've gone to Instagram, I've talked about it, but it didn't circulate the way it is now, you know? And
is also something that is probably a mind F for you too, because it's like this has been done. You know what I mean?
And I'm friendly with, I haven't talked to her in a while, but we still are on social media together. But the girl before me, she's the sweetest. She's absolutely the sweetest. She's done such a great, you know, she's moved on in her life, and she's got a beautiful family. Awesome. So, you know, it's just, why is this telling me? Hold on a second. Oh, there we go.
Requesting, maybe.
Yeah. And it's, you know, I see so many women coming out of this just having a beautiful life after. You know, I know Alicia struggled for a while, just like I did. There was a girl after me who contacted me with her attorney. She tried to go and get an injunction. There was girls after that reached out to Alicia and I that messaged me. I have those messages screenshot on my phone, saying, please help. You know, it breaks my heart. It really does, because, you know, I don't know when that day will come that everybody feels like justice is served truly, but I hope that, you know, that does come, and not at the expense of somebody else, because, you know, nobody wants to see that. So. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's like, and that I think is the hardest part for everyone to grasp right now because
Yeah.
that he is with somebody right now, and you just
Yeah.
what can like when you were in that. I mean, what could any? I mean, I don't necessarily think that people. Okay, stuttering now. It was really hard for me to hear when you said that so many people saw what happened and said absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's disgusting. And I do think that right now, that's not happening in this situation. It's
Yeah.
finally we're doing something, we're breaking some type of cycle here,
Yeah.
right? So it is actually that is a bright thing that's happening right now. But you're right, people are still supporting it, still happening, and it's still just like kind of hanging over people's heads a little bit. So it's hard, you know.
There was
But
a night that we went out, and one of the mutual, like his friend came over and slept over on the couch, and he heard something going on, and he pretended to be asleep, and I knew damn well he wasn't asleep. I knew damn well he was not asleep, and he was not helping me. And those are the people that I'm like, and this was a man. This
like,
wasn't like, this wasn't like a little boy. This was a man, a grown ass man who, was a, successful guy, drove a Maserati, but didn't want to be involved. Didn't want to help me, heard me asking for help, and still did not. He was in the living room and just pretended to be sleeping. And then when I got out of the bedroom, I remember he was just sitting on the couch, wide awake. Like, that's why I knew. I'm like, I knew he wasn't sleeping. He just didn't want to help. And I mean, those types of people, there's just, you're not a man. You're not a man in my book. That's not a man. Like, I hope, like, if he has a sister, I don't know if he does. I lost contact with a lot of people in Long Island, but if he had a sister, I hope that doesn't happen to her where she's, you got to always think of it that way. Like, somebody has a
it's
sister.
so real. Like when you are, it's crazy too. In your mind, when something's happening to you by one person, and like that somebody's just being a bystander, like
Yeah.
that's almost a bigger betrayal than the person that's doing it to you.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you're like, you could have done something. Like you could have done something
Yeah.
about it.
I think
Like,
about all those people that when I was still in Long Island that could have probably changed the situation for me and probably would have prevented me from moving. Like, at this point, my family had no idea. They just didn't, they couldn't stand him. They thought he was a piece of shit. But my mom, I remember my mom and dad saying, like, I can't force you to not date somebody, like, I can't hold you back. You're an adult, but we can't stand him. He's not welcome in our home. And but they didn't understand what was going on because I hid it. So like all those people, I just looked at it and I'm like, had people that were quote unquote my friends or acquaintances that were involved in that situation had tried helping me more, I don't think I ever would have moved, but then I look at it, I met some amazing people along the way because I did move. So, it's that butterfly effect that I talked about the other night. If this didn't happen, you wouldn't meet this person and so forth. So, I mean, I think there's reasons for everything, like even us just talking about this now, if this can help one person, it's so worth it. And obviously we'll hopefully this helps this one girl who is in potential danger, and I pray for her. I really do. I pray for her because Alicia and I were talking about it the other day. I'm like, it just breaks our hearts. It's like we've been there, we know, and it's so hard because you don't listen to anybody. When you're by that time when you're so invested, or there's money control, or whatever the case is, you're just not listening to any outside sources. So
absolutely.
yeah.
I just, maybe a good way for people that don't understand is to put it in perspective of, like, imagine that this was your child going through this. Because imagine someone that you love so dearly, and that this is what they have been put through. Maybe that can help people empathize somehow, you know, because genuinely, it does astonish me to see people
Yeah.
not care plainly.
Don't. They don't. And I actually wanted to take to the platform too because, we were talking about it the other night that I'd like to make like money that I do get, donating to the shelter, to shelters, if that's whatever that looks like, or if that's buying in supplies, buying clothes. I remember the one night I spent in a shelter. I didn't have anything with me. So I can see like there's a lot of stuff, they get donations and stuff like that, but you
Yeah.
know, I maybe, being able to buy new stuff and, that's just coordinating with my local shelters here, which I do talk to.
I love it. I love
So
that.
yeah, so, that's what we were talking about it and how that would look like, money I win on battles or whatever it is and donating a portion of it to,
Yeah.
so, because the shelters are terrible. They're so bad.
However you want to do it,
Yeah.
I think the only thing, which this is, I never would believe you would do this, but people are so suspicious of creators or just people that go live and ask for money, like donations for other things. That I would just
Don't
be
do
like,
it.
I would just
Yeah.
keep receipts and just like, go about it like a business almost. Like that's my only
Yeah.
suggestion with that. Because people are freaking vindictive. Like honestly, it's like you can do everything right and people are still gonna like,
Oh, they'll still twist your words. I
so
said something on the live the other night about how I, caught him with like, and I'll say it now. If anybody wants to twist my words again, you can go ahead. I doesn't phase
don't
me.
worry about them.
You know,
Don't pay me nothing.
hopefully everybody in here is, is supportive. But I said, I was like, I opened the car door and there was a woman there and she had to be like 300 pounds. Now that comment got twisted. And that's when my fingers were broken in the door. My comment was twisted that what does her weight have anything to do with it? There is a reason why the weight has something to do with it because he promoted that he only dated fit girls. So that was the reason why. Oh yeah, yeah. So that like of course people are going to twist and
Yeah.
keeping receipts like you said is like yeah that's going to be done.
Yes. You already know what you're doing. I don't have to tell you, but
No,
I'm just making sure that you,
yeah,
because like,
thank you.
yeah, I want you to be protected because this app can get insane.
Yeah.
Like as you obviously know already.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was reading, and it's honestly everybody's been like so supportive. I think I've like seen like one or two women who, for whatever reason, are just like, haters of like on both mine and Alicia's like videos. They're only like one or two, and I just have to laugh at it. I'm like, you're in that category. So like if that's
Like your opinion means literally nothing to me.
it really does.
Like,
I actually wrote that on one of the comments. I'm like, I'm going to write this and then I'm not entertaining this anymore because it is just not worth my time or, any part of my bandwidth. Like it's just, and they are the, like somebody just wrote, they're part of the problem and that's exactly what they are. So I don't.
no, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, okay?
This is true.
Everybody has one. So
It is really true.
y'all can keep yours, okay? I don't need it. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. I'm like, like anybody who's negative, like, you don't have to write anything. You just like unfollow me. It's that simple. Like unfollow me. Like it's not gonna bother me. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. It's like, I remember like when this all first started coming out and there was haters because they were just like so engulfed when like social media started getting big and they were like, no, it's not happening. And like she's lying. And it tore me to pieces. Like there was a lot of nights that I just cried myself to sleep, because I was just like, how do you think I'm like, are the reports lies? Are the videos lies? Are the pictures lies? Like, how are you thinking I'm lying? And it really upset me for the first few years. That was really hard for me. And then finally when Alicia came out, I was like, oh, here we, because she had the social media platform to really talk to people and show them. Whereas I was like just somebody who was just on Instagram, like, so it was really like, but for those first few years, it was really hard for me. I mean, people said that I put makeup on my eye. I was like, okay.
It's like being gaslit by everyone,
Yes.
and not just one
Yes.
person anymore. Now everyone's gaslighting you, like at the same time, and it's crazy too. That's why social media can be so dangerous the way that it is. Like, I'm glad that All Money's doing this with his platform, but at the same time, like with a big enough community, you can get shit done and not necessarily good things, you know?
Mhm.
Like it can be scary.
Oh yeah, and somebody wrote that too. They wrote like, "Oh, why?" And they wrote something like, "Oh, why are these people just coming out now when they've known about it?" I'm gonna say that
No.
they may have been lied to. They may have been gaslit. They may have been told different stories to make it seem like it was the victim. They were the victim, right? So I don't care if somebody realizes it today, tomorrow, a year from now, 10 years now, 10 years from now, or 15 years. When you do realize, that holds a lot of value. It doesn't matter the time frame that somebody realizes it. It matters that they did realize it. So, that's where I'm at. And I had to defend, I defended him on one of them. I was like, no, like he's coming out. He does not have to do this. He does not have to do it. And he's doing it. And like others are following, and that holds a lot of, weight on my heart. So,
No, and that's why it's like for me, I like to see the bright side in things, you know?
yeah. Yeah.
I do see that as like a societal shift a little bit. It could just be 2,000 people that are shifting, but to me
Yeah.
that's huge, you know? Like I think that's great. And on a social media platform, you know?
Yeah. It was really funny. I was saying this today. Hold on. Should we do a battle?
Yeah, let's do one. Let's do one. And then after this one, I'm gonna get off. But it was lovely talking.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Now you're in my list, and
Yay! But go ahead. You were gonna say something else. Sorry.
I was saying like, what's the most toxic social media platform out there? And I was like, I actually think Facebook is actually the most toxic now because I see so many fake ass people on there. I'm like, all these women posting themselves, and I'm like, I know what you do. That is not what you're promoting yourself, and like all these fake people. So for me, it's Facebook. Facebook is the most toxic for me. And I used to think TikTok was, and I actually think it's just a comedy relief. I find so much laughter out of TikTok, and I think it goes by your algorithm. It's the same thing with Instagram. Your search bar is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
That simple.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
So if you like for me, I'm a mortgage loan officer, so I have a lot of like mortgage stuff or real estate stuff or motivational stuff or that kind of stuff. So you're maybe it's like you're home searching or you like dogs or some like your search bar is a complete definition of who you are.
Yes, your FYP. Yeah, my FYP is like all spiritual stuff, healing stuff, like just mental health.
Yeah.
That's so real. And I always tell people too to like be mindful of what it is that you're taking in on social media. And it's even way more true on TikTok because it's like wherever you're allocating your attention, it's gonna come back tenfold. Like
for sure.
that's such a valid point. I like kind of forgot about that, honestly.
Thank you guys for my roses. I need one more. Yay!
Roses, roses, roses.
Ew.
I know, right, Sarah? She's so sweet. Emery, thank you for the rose.
I love talking to you. This is like, you're so nice. I'm so happy. I feel like I'm meeting such amazing people on this platform already. So it really, it really means a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure. I like to, spend my time with people that can have a genuine conversation about things that matter. So I'm glad to get you on my list too, But
24 seconds. I got double points right now.
guys, we have doubles. Sharon, thank you. Jillian, thank you. Guys, if you enjoy this kind of content, promote it. Positive content, Positive content.
I got doubles. 2 seconds. 1.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Southern Trends. Risky.
I'm glad to see new faces.
Hey, Issa's back in tonight.
So do you post videos on here? Have you ever, or?
I have some videos on there. I was doing a lot of mortgage talking, like mortgage education and stuff like that. Just because that's what I do during the day. That's all I know. It's all I've done for 24 years. So I talk about that, and then now I'm really starting to use TikTok. That's really my number one platform now that I'm trying to work on. So I actually find it so much more fun. Like, this to me is so fun, and I don't get enjoyment out of like Instagram or Facebook. Like, I'll post something on Facebook and I don't even look to see who like comments on it anymore. I'm just over it, because to me that's like the toxic platform. So thank you, Cindy.
Well, if that's toxic to you, then it's toxic to you. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super engaging and interactive on here. Like, I feel like a part of. So I feel way more connected to people on here. Like, I feel like it's closer to a social media platform.
Yeah.
Places,
My dogs always act up when we're battling. It's like they know.
They're like, win for her.
They know.
Win for her.
We got 45 seconds left. I know my team is in here.
Yeah, I can snipe this. I feel like we can snipe this. We gotta put up a fight here, guys. We gotta put up a good game, We got to put up a good game.
We got 30 seconds left. Let's go.
Guys, this is my last battle.
I know. This might be my last battle on here tonight, too.
I'm trying to win this game, guys.
I'm getting tired. So
yeah.
I feel the sleepy's coming on.
It's washing over me, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Issa.
Dang it. All right.
I know, right? This is our last battle. I thank you. It was so nice talking to you. It really was.
Yeah. It's refreshing. It's really refreshing.
And we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure. All right, girl. Have a good night.
Bye, you too.